We're sticking with the theme of UFC Paris this weekend, and we're going on to the co-main event, which a lot of people are saying already is going to be the fight of the night, and that's in the middleweight division between Marvin Vettori and Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker. It's always great to see Robert Whittaker in there because I truly believe he's in a situation where if Izzy wasn't around, he is the best in that division. But he's against a very, very formidable opponent in Marvin Vettori. Both these guys' resumes are absolutely impressive, and they've both, well, we know about Robert Whittaker. He's had those wars with Romero. He's obviously beat Darren Till, which was a stupidly technical fight. Jared Cannonier, Calvin Gastelum. You don't need to hear anymore. They're big, big names in that middleweight division, and he's dealt with them in there. Same for Marvin Vettori. Marvin Vettori, just looking at his resume, he's had Jack Hermansson on there, Kevin Holland, and he's just come off that very impressive win over Paulo Costa when he weighed about bloody 220 something pounds in there. It's super, super impressive. Both guys are very skilled. Marvin Vettori is so hungry to get his hands on that title, and the same with Robert Whittaker, man. I think they're both looking at that division and thinking, if Pereira can cause an upset against Izzy, can one of us slide in there and get that title fight? It's a bit of a strange one because they've both got 2 losses to Adesanya, so I don't see them getting a shot at him for a very long time. But with Robert Whittaker, if he keeps clearing out that division, surely he's going to get another shot at some point. There's not much else going on in that division. If Izzy beats Pereira and Robert Whittaker carries on beating people, then it's going to happen again. But let's talk about this fight. Let's talk about what we're expecting on the weekend. I'm expecting a hungry Marvin Vettori. He's coming in there for blood. And Robert Whittaker is obviously very, very technical. We know how skilled he is on the feet. I see this fight being a stand-up contest between the two. I know that Robert Whittaker's obviously got very efficient takedowns. He's got great jiu-jitsu on the ground, but I just don't see him wasting energy trying to get Marvin Vettori to the ground. Marvin's very, very strong, and I think that Robert Whittaker will believe that he can kind of piece him up on the feet. And with Marvin Vettori, it's a strange one because he's got good boxing. It's not on the level of Robert Whittaker, I don't personally believe. He takes shots to give shots. And the one thing about Marvin Vettori that a lot of people now are agreeing with, that he's got a mental chin, because some of the shots that he took off Costa, especially when Costa was that big, was just absolutely mental. I don't see Robert Whittaker being able to put Marvin Vettori down. He said on Submission Radio that, I might be the first guy to knock him out. I don't believe that's going to happen. But I do see him just absolutely outpointing him in there. He's going to land shots. Costa was landing heavy kicks, and we know that Bobby Knuckles likes to throw that 1-2 head kick. Opponents know that he's going to throw it, but it still manages to land, which is absolutely crazy. This is going to be a really, really good fight. I think what Marvin needs to do in there is the game plan that he does all the time. Come forward, try put that pressure on Whittaker, see if he starts to wear down in the later rounds. But I just see Whittaker being a bit too skillful for him in there. He's definitely the underdog going into this fight, Marvin Vettori, but he's got a real point to prove. He genuinely believes that he can get his hands on that title. He's come up short against Israel Adesanya twice, but with Pereira it might be a completely different ball game. Pereira though is a crazy striker as well in his own right, so if he can get through Robert Whittaker, he'll give him some belief going into that Pereira fight for sure, because we all know how technical Robert Whittaker is. The only thing that's kind of made me think a little bit twice about Whittaker winning this fight is he keeps mentioning going up to light heavyweight, and it's almost as if he's putting doubt into his mind that he's done in the middleweight division. Like, he doesn't think he's going to get another shot against Adesanya. He doesn't really think he's going to be able to capture the title in that division, which, to be fair to him, is going to be a very difficult ask. I don't know whether that's just going to take his mind away from the fight. Hopefully he comes into this very focused. But I do think if Whittaker loses the fight, he will move up to 205. And just looking at that division in 205, there is some great fights for him in there. There's some very good strikers that he could definitely go against. I don't know whether he'll need to take some time off to put size on. I think he does cut a good amount to get to 185, but the guys at 205 are absolute beasts, man. They're massive. They walk around as basically heavyweights. So in their off season, there's definitely some really good fights in there for him though. I think it'd probably be more likely for him to be challenging for a title in that division than at middleweight. But he has to get through Marvin Vettori first, which is going to be no easy ask. He trains with tough guys, man. You know, if you're training with Sean Strickland, this guy's not going to go up. You're not going to get him out of there easy, and he loves to scrap Marvin Vettori. So it's a very, very interesting fight. Definitely a fight of the night contender. It will be, I'm sure. But yeah, guys, tune in for that one, because I can see fireworks in that fight. And if you want to see a real technical striking display, Bobby Knuckles, I'm sure, will give you that. So it is what it is. Let's see what happens at UFC Paris. Let's see what happens with Izzy later on in the year and how the middleweight rankings and the whole landscape changes. But that's it from me for this video. Hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff. Thank you again for all of the support on the channel. Peace.